And if you recognize the theme song, you know who's coming on. That's right. He does have him. And that's a very unfortunate memory for us. It is Steve Ahlenius. He is the president of the McAllen Chamber of Commerce. Boy, do we have some big changes on the way, Steve. Oh, Steve, welcome back. The McAllen Mall going to raise the Sears store. Of all the stores they had to get rid of, they had to get rid of the Sears store. I like that store, man. I know it's kind of old, but I still like Sears.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning,
probably one of the more profitable Sears stores. And so
they've had major problems for a long time now, and I can't believe that Kmart and Sears got married years ago, almost like 10 years ago, and they're still alive.
Still
and
struggling.
As you said, this one in the Valley, because of the retail activity per square foot, all that type of stuff, it's probably one of the better ones in the nation.
Yeah, but it's part of the process. You have major retailers who come and go, and that's part of the creative destruction that you see in the economy. It makes way for new things and new opportunities. And that's what Simon's going to be bringing to the table. You got to keep in mind, Serge, Simon is a market mover, meaning that they, when they move, people take notice. And so the fact that they're going to expand and have possibly 2 stories and 80,000 more square feet to put in additional stores at La Plaza Mall speaks volumes. And it's going to be a huge event as far as driving retail sales for McAllen.
How many new stores, Steve, can fit in there?
Tim, I think they're going to probably, depending on the size footage of those stores, it could be anywhere from 50 to 80 new stores.
So you're talking a whole bunch of new, smaller stores rather than a couple of larger.
Right.
Okay.
I think one of the keys, and I think the conversation is already occurring with Simon, is we'd really like to see an Apple store in the mall. Well, for the simple reason, I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but any location where there's an Apple store in the mall, sales for the entire mall goes up to about $100 per square foot.
Is the Simon La Plaza Mall, are they still tops in the nation's dollar per square foot activity?
It's ranked in the top 10. They keep their numbers pretty close to the vest, but they are the La Plaza Mall is a great producer for the Simon property.
Hey, taking a step back for what I mentioned at the beginning, and this is just something that the news nerds and people that pay attention to the financial networks, I just love that type of stuff. But the marriage between Kmart and Sears years ago, and how they need to churn some money and make some money. With Sears at La Plaza Mall, likely one of the top performers for that chain, do you think that Sears would be tempted to actually, for the first time in years, actually construct a store somewhere in the nation, and it might be here in McAllen, just to keep the numbers coming in?
I don't think so.
No?
I think they've got enough financial problems and challenges that they're not going to do any type of new construction. I think they're trying to figure out where they can make money and how they can make money. I think any new investments for them it is not going to happen.
How many people are we talking about here at the Sears store that would need to find new jobs at the new retailers on the way?
Depending on how they have it broken down, I would say it's probably about 200 total. I don't know how many of those are full-time equivalent employees, but we've got a good market, Serge.
We sure do.
There's jobs that are out there. Obviously, when you've got new stores coming in, there's going to be opportunities for folks that have retail experience to get opportunities there also. So I'm confident that those folks will land on their feet because there's plenty of opportunities in this market.
Steve Ahlenius is the president of the McAllen Chamber of Commerce, our guest right now on 710 KURV.
Yeah, and Steve, maybe as best you can you paint a picture, an artist's rendering to a certain extent of what this mall is going to look like when all the renovations are complete?
Well, obviously you'll have the new stores, and then the city of McAllen is committed to building a parking garage, and so you'll have that new element to that in terms of the space. And so I'm always pleased when you see companies making reinvestments into a property as opposed to trying to get as much money out of a property, and it tells and it speaks volumes about what they think about La Plaza Mall. And so I think this is just another good sign of how strong the retail sales, not only for McAllen, but the entire region continues to be.
So the entire Sears property will be raised. That's a lot of space. Now,
right.
Might they also use some of their parking lot space to create this new 2-floor dozens of new retailers that they need to bring into the area, because I think the write-up was up to 60, enough space for 60 new retail. That's a lot of space. I think they need to take some of the parking space, don't you think?
Yeah, they may do that. They'll have that option. I think with the parking garage, that gives them a little bit more breathing room.
Parking garage, did you say?
Yeah.
What end of the mall is that going to be on?
I think I'm not sure exactly where they're going to locate the parking garage. I assume it's going to be close.
Yeah, they need it.
To the Sears, where the old Sears building is going to be.
This expansion, Steve, this was what we were talking about before the recession, right? The two-floor expansion.
Yeah, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, this was in play. Simon even mentioned it in one of their quarterly financial calls with Wall Street, that this was one of the 5 locations that they were looking at growing and expanding. And then obviously as the economy slowed down, they took a step back.
Yeah.
And now we're back to that point where they're ready to move forward.
That's amazing. What I find overall encouraging is to see the retail growth across the entire valley. Brownsville just exploding in activity. Weslaco, Edinburgh, everybody's growing.
Yeah, and that's good. And that's what you want to see, because it just means there's opportunities for lots of different communities to see their base grow, to see additional tax revenues for cities. And then also it speaks volumes about this marketplace, because we continue to be, it's a very young marketplace. And so you think about the rest of the country in terms of graying. This is a marketplace where the average age is 27. You think of all those things as people are starting out in their lives that they start buying. They buy their first home, they buy the furnishings to go in it, they start having kids. And so you've got that whole lifespan of folks in that purchasing cycle. So that's why this area is so attractive to retail chains.
And the future looking so much brighter, and all these retail dominoes falling all over the place. Someone's paying attention to South Texas. If the McAllen MSA was a leader during the recession, it was one of the least affected during the recession, it must still be ranked very high on the list of.
It is. It's a happening place. The challenge is always is telling our story. And there's some national chains that are hesitant to look at this marketplace because they see it on the border. They don't understand the dynamics that go on in this marketplace. And so part of our
stinks to be them. They're the ones losing out on the cash.
Yeah. Part of our challenge is constantly telling that story about some of these chains that have come in and have done extremely well. And that really helps kind of solidify, third party validation of what's happening.
Man, you got a sweet gig. You and Keith Patridge and all the kids trying to sell this area. Jason Holt down at Brownsville, UTRGV Medical, Port of Brownsville, and everything's happening there. SpaceX, the Mexican highway to the Pacific, and all the manufacturing near us. Wow. It's got to be an easy sell, Steve. Really, it must be real easy for you, no?
Yeah. They just lay down, right?
Yeah.
Steve, thank you much. That's Steve Ahlenius from the McAllen Chamber of Commerce joining us on 710 KURV.